and it sounds like it sounds like something's gurgling over there. Come here. You have to show your claw beaker. You haven't explained what that is for a while, so you might have to redo that. It's still got water in it. You can see there. So this is Karl's claw beaker, and he's washing it in the other room because he's having beer, and Jay and other beer connoisseurs don't like when he doesn't wash his glass before trying a new beer, so he has to do it. But because of all these burping things, it's it makes like a little burping noise every time he washes this. So I was wondering what in the hell was gurgling in the other room. There, I think you can probably put a beer in there now. Oh, somebody asked last week what the beer was. I can't get them all out. What the hell? There. I couldn't empty all your claws. Yeah. No, what the beer we had was. I have to look at that real quick. I haven't answered. Let's see.
Beer we had last week?
Yeah, somebody wanted to know which beer it was. I know Outer wanted the glass because the glass was kind of cool. So she can have that. Oh yeah, there's some comments we got to get them from last week.
Surprisingly good
GF beer is hard to find. Gluten-free beer was hard to find. Yeah. Ah, okay, it was ink.
The gluten-free Belgian one was surprisingly good.
Yeah, it was Nikki that was wondering. Was it the first one or the second one? Do you remember?
Second one. The bottle is there. I think you're saving it for somebody.
Is it the one I'm saving for Audra?
Yeah, I believe so.
I'm not going to show the other one then, but you can show her that one was a good one. And read what it says.
It's the other way around, I think. This one was not a good one. That one was the
first one was a good one?
Am I misremembering?
Oh my god, you have to go back and watch. We'll show both beers.
Because both of them are gluten-free.
Both of them are gluten-free. They're both gluten-free Belgian too.
Yeah.
So but if it was, well...
I do believe it was this one that was the good one.
When you watched last week, you can find out. I can't remember if you liked this one or this one. And you've tried now officially so many beers that you can't keep track.
No, I lose track as soon as I put it on.
So one of these was good and one of these was utter shit. But Audra likes the glass because it has this thing on it, so she's going to get this bottle.
I think it was the one with the fancy bottle that was not good.
Yeah, but they're both Belgian beers.
Not good according to me, but I'm not a connoisseur of the gluten-free stuff. It's possible that it's supposed to be like
That's why I was laughing so much when I pulled them out last week, because I know no matter what, you're going to hate your beer, because it says gluten-free on it, and I didn't even think that... Well, we usually send somebody off to the store anytime they're going to Vinmonopolet in Voss. We ask them to pick up some Belgian beer, and we give them some money. And we forgot to tell them, except the gluten-free kind. So I had to laugh when... They probably came back with more beer than we've normally tried. And, well, for him, anyway, I can't have beer. And it's gluten-free in there. And the Creek one was in there, too, which obviously went over well with you. But I'll write that in the thing afterwards. I forgot to comment.
There was at least now I know there is one good gluten-free beer.
Yeah. Let's see. There we go. Okay, so today's beer, you have two. These ones we've had for a while. You get to try Sure Brigitte, which means sour Brigitte. Bringebär of vanilla, which means raspberry and vanilla Berliner Weisse. So he's obviously gonna like this. It's but anyway, I had to get it from. I think we've had this one for a while, though. You can see there's dust collecting on it from the box. So this is. Oh my god! Yeah, no, this should be good. We should probably dust the top of that before you put it in your glass. But I thought he had to have it because it had a Viking shield on it. But I didn't read what was underneath, and I'm guessing we've had this for about a year. It's only a little can, Karl. You can do it. It's 7% alcohol, so we definitely bought this at the Vinmonopolet. Do you want to read the back, too, since you're Norwegian? Riger, I think it is...
The word...
Ah, you found a Riga beer finally, says Albert. Yeah, he recognizes that one. I think we had two of them, actually.
Albert would probably like this.
Albert would like this one because it's got raspberry in it.
He likes red beer, but I just hope the vanilla can save it somehow. I very much doubt it, because vanilla has no business being in beer either.
I think the vanilla would be good. It's like a cream soda. Cream soda's good.
Yes, but it's a soda. It's not a beer.
Yeah. Don't forget your claw beaker. Oh, yeah, I might have shook it a little.
Yeah.
Does that deserve a bit?
Maybe it's drinkable. I doubt it, but there is so little bear taste in this that it's not really fucking up a bear. It's just a fucked up thing that thinks it is a bear.
Albert says that one is not that good. Feels like a cider that got mixed with beer. Do you agree? Well, you only had the foam. So I'll let you know. Oh, don't get it on my mom's beautiful Afghan. Suddenly it's wet there. The leftover yarn Afghan. It even looks like cream soda in color. So Karl and I had our 4th anniversary. I've known him a lot longer than that, but 4 years ago we decided to share the same bed. So, but I know it was on the 5th anyway, and I didn't remember until yesterday. But it's okay; he didn't remember either. But that's kind of fun. Actually, that was after I started YouTube. We, I think about 8 months in or something like that. It's a pandemic relationship, but apparently we were dating for a long time and didn't even realize it.
This looks like somebody tried to summon Cthulhu and got a bear instead.
Do you agree? Forgot to congratulate. Thank you, Robin. I put a little picture on Facebook. It's a public one, so you can see it. I tend only to follow people that are to accept friend requests from people I've met because I've got kid pictures on
I'm pretty sure would fail the fuzzy test.
But you can follow and you can see everything that's public, just as if we were friends. And everything Gudvangen is public anyway. But yes, so if you go in on my Facebook page there, you'll see a picture of Karl. He flat packs rather nicely. So this year's ode to Karl was, he doesn't take much space, so I think I'll keep him. You look like you're dying. Do you need ice cream with that?
I need an exorcism with this.
No, tell us what you really think. There you go, Albert.
If there even is vanilla in this, the vanilla taste is so well hidden that you can't pick it up.
Oh, this actually, it does smell like raspberry. Big time raspberry. I don't even smell beer in this thing. Mm-hmm. It's not a cider, it's a beer. Yeah, Berliner Weisse.
Yeah.
See? So it's an actual beer. Anyway, if it wasn't for the raspberry, I'd probably like it. If I can't drink it. The damn allergies.
If it wasn't for the raspberry, this tastes of just bitter, very bitter raspberries, and that's it.
Sure Brigitte, sour Brigitte. Brigitte is a girl's name, by the way. Frisk syrlig og skjellesyrnet. Nei, frisk syrlig skjellesyrnet bringebær øl med vanilje. So fresh sour with skjellesyrnet. It's
basement sour. Or is it cellar or cella?
Cella.
Cauldron sour.
Okay. Strawberry beer. Raspberry beer with vanilla. Surt og sørt i delikat samspill. Sour and sweet in a delicately played together. Like a delicacy played together. How would you say that? Og med, well, probably married together. Og med farge mot rosa. And the color is red pink. Anyway, Ryger finner inspiration i vikinghistorien og landskapet vi er en del av. This name brand, Ryger, it finds its inspiration from the Viking history and the country or the landscape that we have, or that we are a part of. Vi holder til på Jæren. They're located in Jæren, hvor tradisjon for å dyrke jord og skape vekst, where their tradition is to cultivate land and agricultural growth, probably. Det ligger i blodet. It's in their blood. Vi gjør vårt beste for å lage alt fra klassiske ølstiler til de mer eksperimentale stilarter. We do our best to make anything from classic beer styles to the more experimental kinds. Would this be an experimental?
That's the thing.
I don't know why they would associate raspberry with Viking.
I'm not a big fan or connoisseur of modern art, but one thing I keep saying about artists is that
It's from Jæren, yeah.
You have to know the rules to break the rules.
Yeah.
you have to basically be able to paint a naturalistic hand if you want to paint an abstract hand.
Yep.
I think these fuckers have absolutely no idea. They just know that, okay, if I put yeast in it, it will ferment.
But what if your
Also
thoughts?
add vanilla and strawberry.
What are your thoughts about this being inspired by the Viking Age? Or Viking history?
Well, their brewery
Karl's
is,
a Viking if you haven't met him yet.
their brewery is called, it's in Rogaland, so you don't have to squint very much to get associated with the Riga. We are going back to before the Viking Age now. This is migration period.
That's the area with the statue of the three swords. The tall three swords
but
sticking out of
that
the
has
ground.
to do with the Viking Age.
No, I'm just saying that's the region.
Yeah.
But it's also, Jaren is spelt with a J, and you can see Albert wrote it in the chat there. Albert is Aldercover. But yeah. So, probably not going to finish this one, I think it's safe to say.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty fair bet, yes.
Okay, I have to say hi to people. We got lots here. Quite a few, actually. So, Audrey's here, and Albert's here. Nella's here, which is good, because she can watch me mess up the Coptic stitch. Amro's here from Belgium. She's probably still laughing at the Belgian beer from last week. She finished 2 knitted scarves this week. Needle 10 went quick. Oh, you know what? There's actually a saying for knitters. The knitters would know this anyway, but what size needle are you? And people can usually refer, people who knit anyway, they can refer to the needle size that they use, which millimeters, I guess. So, if you make the little Norwegian sweaters all the time and that's what you love to do, you're probably at 2.5 to 3.5 size needles. 10 is pretty big. Actually, I have a crochet hook somewhere around here that's a size 9. Yeah, this is a size 9 crochet hook, and this is a size 5 millimeter crochet hook. So I figured I'm a 5 or a 6, and is slightly bigger than this one. That is a fast project. I love these things that go fast. So there you go. A little bit about that. So if you're a knitter, you can always say, I'm a 5 knitter. I'm 5/6. I like my gauge because it means I can use thicker yarn and it goes super fast, and I like it. The little 2.5 millimeter ones, no patience whatsoever. I think I'll stick to needle binding. So anyway, so she's a size 10 this week. Good on you. Audra is making a pair. Oh, she's on a wrist warmer mission. 3 pairs done and keeping on. Oh, good, because we need more. She's got a couple of them in our shop, actually. Audra does. Yeah, we showed them on YouTube a little while ago with the ones with the spirals. So that's good. Charlotte is here, and of course she's got her eggplant with her. Eggplant. Mm-hmm. Aubergine.
Yeah.
Robert Reynolds is here. He says hello from dry and chilly. At least that's what some people tell me. I've still not felt the need for a jacket over my t-shirt. Glasgow. I like that he doesn't freeze. Neither do I. I still go barefoot. Max is here. I found Max on Blue Sky. Nella and Ann Decker are on Blue Sky, and they asked me about that a couple of weeks ago. Didn't really know what it was and forgot about it because it was like a new Twitter. And that's the one social media I hadn't been on. But then Pruda asked me a couple days, about a week, maybe half a week ago, if I was on Blue Sky. So I thought, you know what, I should probably put Viking Valley on Blue Sky. So I put Viking Valley on there, and then I thought, protect the name Karin Beam, because I am Karin Beam the first. So I'm on Blue Sky too now.
Chips now because I want that horrible taste out of my mouth.
Yeah. Okay. So we were gonna try to get Rakkfisk to kick off Strange Norwegian Food. If you want to look also on Facebook, there's a link, and I put it on Blue Sky too. Strange Norwegian Christmas food traditions anyway, and we've actually had every single one of them except for the cabaret on YouTube. Cabaret is just like a vegetable mold.
I absolutely love that thing.
You like cabaret?
No, the little video that the American Embassy made.
Yeah, the American Embassy made it in Oslo, and they're all trying everything but one little. Do you remember I think it was 2 years ago, we had smalahove, which is a sheep's head, or half of one to be more exact anyway. And one lady literally just jumps out of her seat, and one guy, I swear to God, must have roots in Minnesota, because the way he says things. Well, it's interesting, and probably not my first pick. And another one is the bacon's good. And the whole point of the meal is not bacon. So you'll have to watch it and see. It was really funny, though. But apparently it's from 2015, so it's nothing new. I just hadn't seen it before. So we were going to try to do Rakkfisk this week. We have not actually done Rakkfisk yet. It's kind of expensive, but it's actually pretty good. What is Rakkfisk, Mr. Norway?
It's one of the many types of fermented fish we eat around here.
They have a thing for fermented fish. But you said you couldn't find it, which I thought was kind of odd, but it turns out it was probably in a different section of the store. So that means we can probably get it for next week instead. So he did one. Actually, I'm very happy about this one because this one I eat. Every time it goes on sale, I buy it. Gravlax. This looks like a Christmassy version too. It's got little holly up in the corner and a fisherman. What is Gravlax?
It's salmon that has been fermented underground.
Yep. Buried salmon. This is reinskårtefilet skiver, which means it's clean cut in slices. So that's what that is. And then if it was Rakkfisk, we would have it on the potato lefse with some sour cream. But we're gonna have instead we have. Let's see if I can slice it. It's already sliced. I just have to pull it up because it was in the packages. Wait, there we go. Fish. But this one's really good. So if you like salmon, like lox and bagel, you'd like this one too. There's little green flecks on it. I don't know if you can see that. That's just dill. And I think you can get it without the dill too. But anyway, so we'll have that today. I haven't had it with sour cream, but that's supposed to be for the Rakkfisk. But we could try it with this. I usually just have it with mayonnaise. And then, because I wasn't sure if I remember, I mean, I only had Rakkfisk once and I liked it a lot. You had to have it with a Dijon mustard. So...
That's another thing that I probably got wrong.
You got wrong. It's just he's got regular grove, which means what, grainy mustard?
Yeah.
But it's not Dijon, but that's okay. I don't actually like mustard, but it turns out Rakkfisk with Dijon mustard, it turns out I actually did like. And then this is the Säterrömme, so it's like the fat version of sour cream, where they also have the light one. So we'll have that. But then we thought if just in case the Rakkfisk didn't turn out and I didn't like it as much as I thought, Strange Norwegian potato chips. But I told him to buy a Christmas one, but it's not a Christmas one, but I haven't had this one before, but it says Hvitlök ramslök med chili, which means garlic, ramsons, which is wild garlic, and mild chili. We might have started this one already. It's actually really good. So we might have to crunch away, especially you, who have had a beer that was not to your liking. I hope the other ones is good. Do you like it though? That was really good. No, so we'll have to have that one again. But anyway, so we'll try again next week for that. Karl, actually, I think it was Outer that was asking if we were going to do Smalahova, which is the sheep's head again. We could you actually put that on your list of things you wanted to redo, because we've gone through so many Strange Norwegian Foods. We do it every December. That I think we didn't do it the first year, but every December after that. It's really
good, and also it's visually good for YouTube. So.
No, I remember I was worried about how people would expect that if I had sheep's head, dead sheep's head, it's dead of course, on the plate that's been steamed and everything, and what people would react to seeing that. So I'm like, okay, look away if you don't want to see it, and then we show it, and then actually no, everybody's like, oh yeah, no, I remember when no vegans on my channel apparently. But it was actually good. You and Runa ate the eyeballs. I thought that was insane. I couldn't get over because the eyeballs in there actually. I had the cheek meat. It's meat. It just tastes like meat. So that part was good.
If I'm not mistaken, the Italians have a similar tradition, but then with goat's heads.
Yeah, because you burn all the hair off and then you... What?
Goat heads in Italy.
No. I meant, I was talking about the Smalahova. But yeah, with the goat heads, I think they probably do the same thing. I mean, we used to have Christmas pictures of the United States anyway, with like a suckling pig on the table. So... Yeah. But there is Swedes also have the big goat's head on the table.
Meat is meat, as we point out to the...
Meat is meat.
To the not particularly smart tourists. You can get wool from a sheep without killing it, but you can only get leather from it once. Yeah. Yeah, that's true, actually. You can only get the leather from it once. Better make something good with it and don't mess it up.
Project anxiety here.
Another reason why you probably shouldn't make leather armor from it.
So, Suze was asking, I wonder if you put lemon would be good on that fish too. Actually, I would. We didn't have lemon ledges with us, but I did have lemon juice, which I think we have the same one in United States
must have heard
too.
you wrong.
Lemon on the fish, if it would be good
Okay.
on the fish. What did you hear?
Women legislators.
We do not want to put any women legislators on our fish. Lemon wedges would be better. Anyway, so you can have some of that too, Carl, if you want. And the lumpa that we have is just plain. Lumpa. Lumpir is, plural. It's just potato lefse. A lot of people just make it, but we were too lazy. So there you go. See how Carl does over here. There, if I can find you. Do you want to try it with the... You could have got a plate. Just put it straight in your mouth. You're not doing it right. You're supposed to have one of these beautiful little lefses, and you're supposed to, like... You did it wrong. You're disgracing your country. I'm sorry. On behalf of everyone in Norway, I'm sorry.
These things, are they an international thing, or are these a Norwegian specific thing?
I mean, I know we make them in Minnesota, but it would be more of the Scandinavian culture that would do that. But usually, I mean, because you can have these with your hot dogs.
Yeah.
You put hot dog, Norwegians will do that. They will have that as a hot dog bun instead of an actual bun. It's like more common than they have hot dog buns, but this is more common than the hot dog buns. And I've never seen anybody have a hot dog and a potato lefse before.
No, it's not uncommon, but I think the buns are now more common than this. But
really? Because I'd never seen that before until I came over here, but it's good.
It's very simple. So when you have like a birthday for kids, just have a stack of these and a stack of and a pot of
no plate required.
You just go blip and hand it out to the kid. So
yeah, did you do that with Anyway, so there you go. So now you have to try it the proper way here. I'm gonna catch up more on chat though. It looks like a tortilla. Yeah, it does. Except for tortilla is corn.
Yeah, these are always like this. They don't get stiff, and they're made out of potato meal.
Sometimes they're big, like big square. If you want to, because they'll make them at Christmas time and they'll put wet sugar and that's a whole slice there if you want. This is already sliced, so. I brought out my cool knife. My cool butter knife. This one I got it somewhere in Sweden anyway, but I like that it was hammered and has the handle. I wanted to get the whole set, but they were extremely expensive.
And of course I have to use a little bit of mayonnaise.
The mayonnaise! Oh, you just made Charlotta happy. Because of the mayonnaise thing. Did we open it properly?
I don't know. You were the one opening it.
So Norway gets, this is actually not a Norwegian name brand, but anyway, I don't know why we use this one. Anyway, but the top of the cap. So they put their mayonnaise in toothpaste tubes. I can't do it. You do it. I have no wrist strength.
Clearly.
Squeeze it, Carl. Squeeze it. You're making it look hard. There you go.
This mayonnaise is actually kind of hard.
It is kind of, but I've never had the Hellman's mayonnaise before. I wonder why the hell we bought this. Probably because the other Mills one was sold out.
My father loves it, but I think he loves it because it comes, normally it doesn't come in a tube like that. It comes in a glass.
It's like a toothpaste tube.
It comes in a glass can.
Their caviar comes in a toothpaste tube too. Robin says, I'll bring my lefse next time I come. I also like to use it for breakfast burritos. Okay, and Robin's all the way over in California too. So it's possible to get that. It's just I've never seen it served regularly with the...
Should I use the sennep on it?
Yeah, I'm not going to eat the mustard. I was only going to try it with the fish. But I just don't usually like mustard. There you go. Knock yourself out. Mayonnaise and mustard, you're going to mix that together?
Yeah, why not?
If you're old enough to remember the Life commercials, the commercials of Life cereal, and there's a little boy named Mikey and his brothers just kind of like give him the new food because let's see if he eats it first. And then later, you know, then Mikey eats the Life cereal and he keeps eating and eating and they're like, he likes it, he likes it. It's Carl trying the weird food. He likes it. He likes mustard and Dijon or mayonnaise. That's not true Dijon mustard. We'd insult France here. Okay, I gotta catch up more. Ah, congratulations, Karin and Karl. It's Robert Reynolds and his it's his 10th wedding anniversary. I did see someone wrote on there. It was one of my cousin wrote on Facebook too. She says, "Are you guys married or just boyfriend and girlfriend?" I can't wait to write back and say, "No, we're just living in sin." I'm still test driving him.
Do you think I would be any better if I was approved by a priest?
No. Good flat pack you though. You fit. And then another one goes, "Oh, I thought that was kind of funny that you said flat pack Karl." Or, no, he doesn't take much space. I thought that was funny. I'm like, clearly you underestimate the amount of yarn I have. I need space for my yarn. But if you want to see how Karl can, tall guy, almost 6 foot, or 6 foot anyway, can flat pack, you have to see that picture on Facebook. Let's see. Sue says, if you do pig's head, you have to put an apple in its mouth. Yes, they do that in all the cartoons. Suckling pig with an apple in its mouth. Why actually they do that, I don't know. Do you have Rakkfisk beer? Says Albert. I've never heard of. Oh God, look at Karl. We need to try that, huh? I haven't heard of that.
I don't think that exists. That's too blasphemous for anybody to actually do without having the brewery blown up.
Albert, if you find one, let me know. Because clearly now we have to try it. Here, by the way, you get another beer. I don't remember. I think we've had this one. This is one of the Lithuanian ones. I think this is an outer beer.
Ooh, has potential to be great.
I'm pretty sure we've had this on YouTube, but it would have been a couple of years now. But you are allowed to have it now.
But then I'm definitely...
I have no idea how you say that.
Then I'm definitely cleaning my glass because I don't want beer that is potentially very
raspberry
good
flavored beer.
Infected by raspberries.
No, this one is also 7.3%. Yeah, Lithuanian beer. So this is one of the outer beers. I don't know if we've had this on YouTube. I want to say we have, but I might be thinking of the big wide can too.
I also have a sneaking suspicion that the Lithuanians might also be completely capable of fucking up a bear.
Yeah, I can't read
It's just that we haven't had any fucked up bears from Lithuania yet.
No, but anyway, you can read for yourself. Yeah. So there you go. No, we haven't had any fucked up beer from... Yeah, you've actually found fucked up Belgian beer, though.
Oh, yeah.
Anne is a little less than perfect now. Mm. But Anne from Belgium and Audra from Lithuania, originally, she's in Norway. Between the two of them, I think Karl's in love. You are a serious competition for me. Forget it what I said. Karl takes a lot of space. Oh, he'll like this one, though. Okay. He said, Albert says it's beer that's meant to be drank when eating Rakkfisk. I think we're going to go to Vinmonopolet later this week on ourselves, though, isn't it? This Thursday and Friday, yeah? So we'll go to Voss, and then we can ask him what kind they recommend for Rakkfisk. Which beer?
We could. As long as I don't put Rakkfisk in it.
No Rakkfisk in the beer. Okay, see how you like that one. I'll keep reading here. I have to go backwards a little bit. Albert says his girlfriend has started to crochet. It goes so fast compared to needle binding. Every once in a while I have to do a crochet project just to remember that things can go fast. Although needle binding, if you're using a fat yarn, size 10, it would actually it actually can go pretty quick. These here, for example, this would be yarn for Anne Moreau. I finished these, by the way, I just haven't tied in the ends. You can see the needles still in there just so I can sew in the ends. Because this yarn, I couldn't felt it together.
The color or lack thereof has me less than optimistic. But
I'm pretty sure you've had that one.
It smells like bear.
Let's see, what you think? By the way, this one's probably took me about maximum 4 hours. It's Oslo stitch. I started from here. I did not go around the thumbs.
It's really good.
I think you've had that one. I knew you were gonna like it. I just didn't realize that was one of the Lithuanian beers. So no, this is this really weird yarn. I don't know what it is. It's almost like they braided it and felted it or something, but they don't make that yarn anymore. But that's what that really big pink one is. That's the leftover rest of the skein, and way over on the end, that was what the original size skein was. So I have enough to make a couple more. She says, it's not my fault that you pick out, that you guys, where is it? I lost it. Amro says, Helaba Not my fault what you pick out. Not my fault that you guys picked out bad beers. I would never suggest anything bad. And then she's got a halo over her head. So she's not willing to bow down to Audra's beer just yet. So, but no, Belgium still ranks high. Did you know that we pay transport services with beer from Belgium? You can get anybody in Gudvangen to do anything for a Belgian beer.
And that's the thing. When we have somebody, we live 3 kilometers from work along a highly trafficked road, and it's dark when we leave work. So
walking is not a good idea.
Nobody is going in the right direction, and thankfully for me, both Greg, Anders the blacksmith, Rune, and Roger and Marie live in the right direction. So normally I have somebody who's going that way anyway. But sometimes we have to use outside labor to get back home.
Somebody that has to specifically go from in the wrong direction.
It might be a day when none of them are working at the end of the day because they either have a different schedule or they're sick or they just coincidentally are not working. Yeah. So then we bribe somebody with a Belgian bear.
And they do.
And people will do almost anything for a Belgian bear in Norway.
My Rakkfisk or my
So if any Belgians are watching and planning a vacation to Norway, bring as much bear as you legally can, because you will get both Norwegian people and the foreigners who hang around here to jump through enormous hoops to get one.
Yeah. I'm putting a little lemon juice on it. I think that'd be good. Let's see. Ooh, I think the lemon would be a good twist. I haven't had it on the lemon before, but... I already knew I liked this one, though. When you got the gravlax, I'm like, I don't know why I never thought that was buried. I just compared it to the regular gravlax, the smoked salmon that you put on your...
Yeah, this, as far as I know, it's not smoked at all.
No, I never realized. I never thought that, gravid actually means buried.
Yeah.
I didn't imagine my fish looking buried. I just saw it nice, pretty slices.
That's a thing, because
in the package.
Almost all Norwegian food is based on some drunken fisherman with a very bizarre idea on how to store his fish.
We need something. I'll be right back. How to store his fish? He decided I'll just bury it in the backyard?
Yeah. This is what probably happened when this was invented.
I forgot to do onion.
But the Norwegian traditional fish food is still better than the Swedish traditional fish food.
I don't know why I didn't think we're supposed to put little chopped up onions with it. So there we go. I now have an onion with mine. You could have the other one. It's growing over there if you need more.
Do you have any Swedes watching, or should I save my insult until you do?
Oh, we probably do. Go ahead, insult the Swedes.
Well, the traditional Swedish fish food is something called surströmming.
Oh, that's nasty, the famous one.
You get surströmming when you don't know how to... what's the English word for hermetisera?
For what?
When you make conserves, when you put something in an airtight container to make it last.
Preserves, maybe.
Yeah. When you don't know how to...
Like herring, you have it in a tin. Yeah. Sardines.
When you don't know how to do that, when you manage to fuck that up, then you get surströmming.
Oh, because the can, it starts like this, but it ends up looking like a ball?
Yes. They are preserving it with too much oxygen in the can. So there is enough oxygen for the bacteria to do a lot of stuff. So the entire can kind of ends up looking like a balloon because there is so much overpressure inside of it. It both smells and tastes absolutely horrible.
Yeah.
To the point where I think that the Swedes are not actually eating it because they like it, but it's some kind of weird Swedish ritual.
Oh, but it's nasty. I mean, people...
You have to eat it to be Swedish,
and don't you dare open that indoors. Holy crap. Well-ventilated area. But literally, I mean, it induces vomiting just by opening the can.
And keep it on your side of the border, people.
You're welcome from Norway. Yours sincerely, I think would be the better word. Yeah, sincerely yours, Norway. Karl of Norway.
I have to say, Norwegian tørrfisk, that's
Dry fish.
fish that has been dried.
Yeah.
You wait until the late in the autumn when the insects are gone, and then you just hang your fish out to dry. And when you come springtime, you have dried fish. It's really good, and I don't think it smells that strong. Do you think dried fish smells strong?
I've had people say keep it out of my tent. Yeah.
I've had people scream about me,
Yeah.
scream about the smell because I had eaten it earlier in the day.
Oh, it does
So
have a
for
pretty good
some
smell to it.
people, the
Yeah.
smell is very, very noticeable. For me, it's not.
Well, I think because we were
I can smell it if I have it like here, but it just smells like dried fish.
the first year we had the Viking house. My kid loves to package of dry fish anyway, and she just sits there and eats it like mad. But it lasts a while. It takes you a while to go through the whole thing of it. So we were sharing the Viking house with two other families, or two single moms with kids, and one of them was very insistent. Do you think you can store that dried fish outside? So
Yeah.
yes, after that, the dried fish had to be stored on the back side of the house.
I think there is probably a genetic component to this because I've seen that the reaction is so strong that it's clearly.
More surströmming for me than says Radisby. I'm assuming that's a Swede you just insulted. Every week, Karl has to insult somebody, so I guess it was your turn this time anyway. But surströmming is delicious. I actually never tried that. That's what it says. Yeah. Radisby says surströmming is delicious. More surströmming for me than tongue sticking out. We're gonna wake people up in Sweden, Karl. Oh, you should have heard him when he took off on the Dutch. Anyway, about Norwegian brown cheese, which is the best. Oh yeah, we do have to have that one on here again. Actually, Undredal is just through the next tunnel. It's in the next valley. That one is famous for brown cheese in Norway, and it's so good.
Yeah, but that's specifically goat cheese.
Yeah, it's goat cheese, but it's brown goat cheese, and you have all different shades. You have the light brown to the really dark stuff. The light brown, then actually Gudvangen has one called G35, and it's a very light colored one, but most people have that in the refrigerator here. You have like a lefse or flatbread or something with some butter on it, and then you have that cheese on top. Yeah. But here you can get the really, really dark one that's harder to find.
And that's a thing we could.
Yeah, we do need to do that again. I love that cheese.
No, and it's another thing. If you make, I think the process is, you know how to make white sauce, right?
Yeah.
If you make white sauce and you throw in a couple of slices of brown cheese, you get brown cheese sauce.
Oh yeah, no, you do that.
It tastes like brown cheese.
Yeah, you can okay, so we were talking last week about how a lot of the Norwegians, they have it's very common here to find a dried sauce package. Just you get the mix, you just add water, stir it up and then heat it and it's done. But one way, there's one called brun sauce, which is brown sauce. Another one's kjøttkake sauce, which is
also brown sauce.
Meat patty sauce, but it's made specifically for these meat patties.
They just changed the spicing.
It's the same thing, yeah. But anyway, and a little bit of the red wine sauce, Rødvin sauce, you could also do it with. But you put in a couple of slices of that, but not too much because it'll overdo it too fast. But if you put in just a little bit, it gives it kind of a
if you use flavor. Ordinary white sauce that has a very neutral taste, you don't need much. You change the color almost immediately, and you change the taste very quickly too.
Yeah, but if you put too much in, you ruin it. So like literally no more than maybe a slice, or it depends how thick the slice is.
You can maybe talk to Rune about this because it's his neck of the wood that have a strong tradition for the brunost sauce.
Heidi's here. That's his sister. I think I saw her in there by the way. Hi, Heidi. There was more people to say hi to, by the way. I have to keep missing. Ragnhild's here. She says we get to see you live again. She misses us. No bad language.
What?
Because Trim is watching too, so you have to say hi, Trim.
Trim isn't he like 14 now?
Yeah, okay. Karl might say a bad word. Do not do what he does.
That will occasionally happen. I'll try to sort my language a little bit.
You didn't say hi to Trim.
Hi, Trim.
There you go.
You know, I was I studied to be a teacher once upon a time.
Yes.
And I'm from a part of Norway where what you can call descriptive cursing is used a lot. You don't, when you're talking about temperature or distance, you never ever say words like very far away.
Yeah.
It's always bleepity bleep far away or bleep far away. So when I was working as a teacher, I'm kind of trying to be conscious about this. So I kind of think through everything I'm going to say to the class. This was fourth graders, so about 9-year-olds. And I have to think through everything I'm going to say, and I have to remove all the bad words from the sentence before I actually say it.
Yeah.
And then we are having about, their education is about the solar system. And I go, okay, this is the sun's surface temperature is 6,000 degrees, blah, 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 blah. And then I kind of have a mental sentence that I just delete about how hot it is on Mercury.
Yeah.
And so instead I say something that is pretty bland. I say, okay, this is Mercury. Mercury is closest to the sun, so Mercury is, of course, pretty hot. And then we have Venus. And now I have run past my ability to censor my language. So what I end up saying to a classroom full of 9-year-olds is, so this is Venus. And since Venus is further away from the sun, you probably expect it to be a little bit colder than Mercury. But it isn't. Because it has an atmosphere. Here is fucking bloody, incredibly, horrendously penis cancer-inducing hot.
I gave you one job, Carl. I told you to watch your language.
Yeah, I'm
I'm
telling
sorry,
you.
Ragnhild. I cannot control him. He is flat packable though and doesn't take much space. Anyway, oh, and then I write on here as I was running around the house trying to pick up a little bit and get the thing ready. I put hi on there in chat. Coptic is not my favorite stitch, so I really hope you're happy, Max, because I don't. It curls so much. That's why I don't like this stitch. It's actually, well, I didn't do much of it to see how much it curls, but it curls. Anyway, and then Nella jumps in and says, I'm binding off black yarn. Not a good idea. No, also, by the way, the color of the month, I decided not to do black this year. I was thinking, do we save that for last? But no, it's really hard to see, especially us with old eyes. So the color of the month is, you have to save me a piece of that fish.
How did you manage to separate this fish from itself?
How you call yourself a Norwegian?
Norwegians tear off pieces of fish with their hands and eat it. They don't sit around.
You just run the knife underneath and it comes off in this pretty slice.
Run your knife underneath it and it comes off in this pretty slice.
Yeah. Did you want to try that with Roma, or do you want to
Frenchman would say, this isn't a pretty slice. It's very, very thick.
Hold it up. They can't see.
Oh.
It's not thick there. You just have to uncurl it.
It's uncurled.
It tastes better than he's making it look.
It is actually very good.
I like gravlax. So I don't know why I never thought that was buried, but duh.
I have to say, I think I prefer smoked salmon over buried salmon. But when you can achieve much the same effect without using any wood, it's...
Yeah.
Oh,
by the way, yeah, so I chose multicolored yarn, so it's easier to see your stitches when doing Coptic stitch, because you don't do that one around your thumb. You can work all Nalbinding stitches flat, but most of them I do in my thumb, but this one I can't. Yeah, I was going to say, did you want the drama? The sour cream. Here's a spoon. I'll get you sorted.
I'm going to be super experimental now, I think.
Yeah? Well, if you're supposed to have ruma with Rakkfisk, it makes sense. There. I'll put that over here somewhere. There you go. You may dollop yourself. It's really thick, but it's basically sour cream.
I don't need an enormous.
Oh, and it's the Merry Christmas version. See?
So.
God jul. Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
And then put one of those onions on there. Yeah. Do you want the whole one, or do you want have the half?
Okay, that's a half. Okay.
That's a half, yeah.
So,
we have some in a jar. And you're putting chips on it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's garlic and ramsons and mild chili. So.
Is there anything on the table I haven't put in this yet?
Mustard and mayonnaise and lemon juice.
I have mustard.
Okay.
That's one of the first things I put in.
Oh yeah, you did. Yeah.
So mayonnaise.
It's I think the hole in that tube needs to be bigger. Do you want me to squirt it for you? You're making Charlotta blush again. It's on your chips too.
That's one thing that my mother used to get crazy over. She would use mayonnaise on everything except anything that contained eggs. Because in her opinion,
Boring again, multicolored. Oh no.
you don't put eggs on eggs.
Have we done, if we've done multicolored, I'll find another color for next week. I couldn't remember, but I thought for some reason we
You did
had
with the samba last year. Or...
Oh, yeah, but that was last year. No, but this year. I don't know. If I had none, I'd do another one. It was purely to show a Coptic stitch. But yeah, burgundy we did recently. But this one is actually blues. But I know we've done blue, so... Or you could just say one color, but multiple tones, but that's even harder to find. I would think multicolored if you had, like, several color in there. But this is all shades of blue. Anyway, but I'll have to show that.
So this is basically one with everything.
Rarisby says, none of my relatives have ever felt like throwing up when we've eaten at family gatherings. Laugh out loud. It just tastes like salty fish. Again, referring to the surströmming. Why is it if the Swedes open a can of surströmming, all of Norway pukes? But they can eat it, not...
Because they're Swedes.
Okay. You know, I went to Sweden before I came to Norway.
You know that...
Learned Swedish before Norwegian.
You know that rats and raccoons will also eat everything.
Yeah, okay. I apologize to the entire country of Sweden for that. He won't eat surströmming, but he'll eat potato chips.
No, I'll eat it. I just complain all the way.
Do you all use, I'm sorry, I gotta do this one in Sue's. Do y'all, we don't do y'all in Minnesota, but anyway, do y'all use fish sauce up there? Yeah, we do. But it's usually a white sauce. There's a hollandaise sauce, of course, but then there's one that's just Bergen fish sauce.
We don't use fish as an ingredient in sauce.
No. Put sauce over the fish.
Yeah. We use white sauce mostly on fish. But we don't have an equivalent to the Mediterranean garum thing where you use fish as an ingredient in the sauce. At least I don't think so.
I'm loving the comments. A lot of people are laughing at your food here, by the way. Heel survives his wrong-tailed untrim. Oh, thank God. And then he says, she says, Trim is currently eating and talking to the TV in hopes that you can hear him. I thought that's what I heard. Was he saying something like, don't put potato chips on there? Or the potato chips actually could be pretty good on that. Now he has to try it too.
It works. It's good.
There you go. So we can kind of hear you, Trim. Anne says, what is Karl preparing now? It looks like something to put in my cookbook. How to ruin perfectly good food. It's got to be the Lithuanian beer. Or the raspberry one. I don't know. And then Radisby says also, I'm trying to figure out Dalby stitch for the first time, and I'm loving it thus far. What stitch is my favorite? Depends on the project. If I want to mindless and quick and brainless, fat yarn Oslo goes a long way. Then I like that stitch. If I'm going to make socks, hand me those socks over there in the corner on the couch. I just put a picture of that one somewhere in all of my knit group. But
Yes.
yeah, finish 2+2 is, I love them for socks. It's more time consuming, you can see. But they're so, it's like a piece of fabric when it's done. It's so durable. So these are a little bit felted because I've worn them. But yeah, so finish 2+2 is one of my favorites. Dalby is one of my favorites. I actually prefer Dalby to Telemark. They're both the same, except for Telemark has a raised ridge because you do the yarn over instead of under. But Dalby is nice and flat. I like that one for if I'm going to embroider on it or something. It's so pretty anyway. And then another one, absolute favorite, is Dalarna. That one also works almost as quick as Oslo, but it's thicker and it hugs. But I love, love, love using Dalarna for wrist warmers. So there's my favorite stitches. Of the Russian stitches, yeah, Russian 2+2 is also pretty good too. If you like Dalby, you'll like that one. But usually anything, I'll use Oslo 9 times out of 10 because it just goes fast. Stitches I don't like, York, it twists. And then I have to tighten to the needle, otherwise it drives me absolutely nuts. Or I have to do a denser connection like F2 versus F1 because then it's less holy. But the twist drives me absolutely the wall. And of course, Coptic is not one of my favorites because it curls like mad. If you're a knitter and you've done stockinette stitch and you just do stockinette stitch, which means knit on the right side all the time, you'll see it starts to curl up at the bottom. And I actually have a good example of that. Where did I put it here? Maybe it fell on the floor. No, here it is. This was Coptic. I was starting to work on this, thought it would be better, but then realized the color was too dark. But look how much it curls up. I'll show a more close-up of it later. But that's why one of the things that drives me nuts is when it curls. And this one too, it's curling. It actually can be spread out, but it wants to curl. So that's why if it's a fiddly stitch, I don't really like it. I do actually like the Omani stitch too, but wow. Whatever you make with it, it's like a tall stitch, so it's going to have a seriously big jog on the project if you're going around, and it's really hard to do a round start with that one because you'd have to start with some 72 stitches in the middle just to get the sucker to lay flat, and then you've got this big ring on the top of your head. The Nalbinders know what I'm talking about, Karl. Anyway, but that one, if you took Omani and you took two of them and you kind of spiraled them around each other, then you wouldn't have such a huge problem in the middle. But it's quite cool, but that is definitely a time-consuming yarn. Osla stitch, if you have patience and you have thin yarn, the Osla stitch is A with a circle over it, SLE, is really nice too, but that one is a bit fiddly to do. It's not a new beginner stitch, but... So those are my favorite stitches. So I think Dollarna, well, also is a go-to stitch. It's not necessarily my favorite stitch, but the speed of it and I like it. But probably Dollarna, Dalby, Finnish 2+2, and then quite a few honorable mentions. So that was that. Karin, go to Rema Tusen. They sell Rieger Pilsner at IPA and Julerla. Yeah, there was also asking about Christmas beer. We were trying to get people together to drink Christmas beer this year, but it's a little bit trickier.
Yeah, it was on my shopping list today because...
yeah, the new Christmas calendar box is here.
But I had
very
limited time. Georg picks me up at 6 o'clock to drive me home, and I don't leave work until 6 o'clock, so I kind of have to... teleport to the shop, pick up everything on the list, teleport back out again, and get
no, but on Thursday or Friday, I forget which day, but we'll go to Voss and we'll get some of the good Christmas beers, and then we'll get the local Christmas beers that you get in the grocery store. I don't know that we're able to do that before Christmas on YouTube, but then we'll definitely do it in January.
We have to start some kind of grassroots campaign to bully the local Vinmonopolet.
Yeah, to...
First of all, they have to take in absolutely everything that is produced in Lithuania.
Yeah, and Belgium. They already do a good representation of Belgium.
And then they have to get dragon's milk from Minnesota.
Yeah, that was really good.
Was it
no, it was Michigan, actually. Yeah.
That was impressively good.
Yeah, you really liked that one. You liked the bent paddle, too. That one is Minnesota. That one got an honorable mention from you as well. But yeah, so if we're going to try to do the Christmas beer thing, but it's a lot of beer to open and taste. So we might have to do it in January, but we'll try to get a hold of the beer before it disappears.
A question for the Lithuanians.
Yeah.
How do you guys get anything done? The beer is super good. It's super strong. And it comes in cans this big.
Yeah.
How?
Oh, she had a bigger one too. Remember, it was like this.
I remember.
It's like a magnum.
This is a small one for the Lithuanian ones.
Yep, there was another question. Did you learn how to do all the different stitches from books or what? I don't know if Prude is on there, but I can write it on there. Prude is my moderator, but there's a website that is absolutely flipping amazing. I can get it for you. Let's see. There we go. We want the English version.
This is Neulockentot.
Neulockentot, yeah, which I'm probably butchering the name, but Nella the Finlander knows how to pronounce it. Let's see. So I will put the link in here. You might have to Google it. Let's see. Okay. If you just take that word, Neulockentot, and you just take that word and Google it and then do Finnish family or Finnish stitches or Russian stitches, turning stitches, because her site is a little bit updated. It's been transferred from one to the other and she has to do the whole thing herself. So not all the links work properly, but you can Google directly to the link. But you'll get like a huge list of the Finnish stitches, huge list of the Russian stitches. It has nothing to do with the region. It's just the way that they're done. And then, of course, there's turning stitches or other stitches. And that's kind of what I played with. She didn't have that page up when I just started needle binding, but by about 3 years in, all of a sudden I saw it and I'm like...
And if you, for some reason, prefer the Danish, for some weird reason, I have to say, prefer the Danish over the Finnish, you also have a Master of Nalbinding.
Master of Nalbinding, yeah, I have to write that one too. That is a Christmas calendar that Maria Lynn Hale puts together with a lot of other people. other, like Peggy Solomon has patterns in there. Ava Bolander puts them all into the website. Myself, several others translate them. Let's see. Masteraf Nalbinding. I'll put that one in there too. But this one is now in its 10th anniversary, I believe. Let's see. Yeah, so there's a lot of patterns in there too. And then there's new ones coming up this month every Sunday. So one was just put out, and then another one will be going out on Sunday. And it's in a lot of different languages. It's actually even in Swedish and Norwegian and Danish and German and French and Spanish. I think Italian is on there too. And Dutch. And Anne Moreau is actually translating some too. So she got a head start. She knows what my pattern looks like, by the way. I can't put my pattern out yet. But anyway, that's a lot of ones to try different stitches. And if you want a little hint, a lot of the stitches are written in numbers. Mommen stitch, if you know how to do that one, is 1 + 2, meaning you're working over 3 loops. Also stitch is 1 + 1, meaning you're working over 2 loops. So if the number is low, there's not a lot of loops involved in the stitch. But if the numbers are high, that's going to be a pretty extensive switch. Also, the slash in there represents a turning point. So when you have something like Omani that actually has 2 slashes in it, that's a lot more complicated stitch. Okay, there was some more quick chat in here I might have missed.
Also, if it is any consolation to the Belgians, this little fucker doesn't care about Lithuanian bear at all.
Oh,
but
Garcia
he will
is
try
here
to
too.
steal my Belgian bear.
James Steele is here. I forgot to mention his obscure craft of the week. Hi, Karin and Karl. I'm working on Inca Empire Quipu, a device file with a number file and narrative. Stumps me yet again. I never know what he's on about. Once or twice I understood what he was saying, though. But this one, I don't know what that is, but he always wants me to... I always Google anyway. It's just really good, actually, because I like being challenged. So I have to Google and figure out what the heck that is. Sometimes I knew what it was. It was just under a different name that I knew it as.
So the question is then, what the hell is a quipu?
Don't know. Gonna have to Google that sucker. Oh, by the way, Robert says in Scotland we have potato scones, which are a thicker version of those, but quartered. You kind of have that here, but the lefse. You can have thick lefse is what it's called, which means literally thick lefse, and that would have butter and sugar on it. Sometimes cinnamon. Okay, yes. But that's not quite what he's talking about. But that one would be, that's like a wedge.
But lefse is not the same as lompe.
No, lefse is, what's the difference?
This is sugar-free. There is little or no sugar at all in it. But lefse is always sweet.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Lefse has always got the... And Charlotte says, yes to the mayonnaise! Okay, I gotta do a stitch here pretty soon too. Charlotte, another Norwegian, by the way, says, I don't want to be creative with what I think surströmming tastes like. The emojis are just, everything from deadly to aubergine. Max says, interesting question I want to ask. I was wondering what group of community of Muslims in Nalbinding as a tradition practice in certain areas of the Middle East or Arabic culture. Or maybe it was, I was wondering what group of community of Muslims use Nalbinding as traditional practice in certain areas of the Middle East or Arabian culture. Oh, Nellum might know that one. That would definitely be an Ann Decker question. I know that they have the Coptic stitch in there. There is, I think it was Iran. They even have shoes or slippers that are made out of the Coptic stitch. They have the hats.
I know that knitting doesn't go to Scandinavia until the late 1400s. But how old is knitting as a concept?
Knitting is younger. It's much younger. Some people want to say it goes back to 1200, 1100. Most will say 1400s.
Yeah.
But a lot of them will look at the Coptic stitch and call it knitting, and that's not knitting. You'll see in a minute. I should do that now, by the way, because we're literally at 1 hour and I haven't even touched needle binding.
Muslim religion starts in the 600s.
Yeah.
So basically, all of them had to use needle binding until the invention of knitting, I assume.
Yeah, well, it's a looped knitting, not loop technique.
Obviously, you can get away from using either of them, but if you have a situation where you want to use one of them, like you want a sock or a camel muscle, then needle binding would be the only game in town for 600 years.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that could be. So, but I would have to, because it's all over the world. It's not just Scandinavia. It's found in South America. It's found everywhere. Just different ways of doing it. But this was the Coptic. So this was a sock that had 2 toes, and everyone thought was knitting. It's hard to see in this one, so I'm really glad I started again. You can kind of see it with there, but this was the middle one. I was trying to do a center start, but I'm glad I switched to this yarn because it shows up much, much better. I also did it with a loose ply, which I regretted. Let's see, that one is, I think here. No. Let's see, 1 minute. I buried it. There. That was another one I started, but it was hard to see with a loose ply on this yarn. It was kind of hard to see the stitches and the loops. But your increases will definitely show on this, just like they would in needle or in knitting. Anyway, so we can do a start another day, but I decided to continue on. I did a round. The reason this edge is a little bit lifted is because when I connected when I did the first row, I deliberately went through under the posts instead of under the loops, which is what we're going to do now. And then after that, I straightened it out. So you can see if I uncurl it, it looks like knitting. But the way they cross, it's also called cross knit looping, isn't it? Yeah. Sorry. Why did I ask that anyway? Like Karl knows. I was just having a question for myself. But yeah, the way it wraps around. So knitting will go like this, but this one will go like this. Like a full loop. So, and this one, instead of needle binding from left to right, I'm actually binding from right to left, and I hold it upside down. There's a couple different ways to do it, but for me, this is easiest. So you can see this curl row at the top. That's the loops we're going in. In the beginning, it's really easy to mess it up and do one of these loops on the back, because you can see it looks like garter stitch on the back. Whereas if you knit both sides of the fabric straight, except for that bottom row, because I picked it up differently and I can show you how we do it. I've decided I'll do wrist warmers or mittens, but these are looser than I thought. So when I start, I'll save the next one to start next week. But anyway, so the reason for the multicolored yarn here, God, this is so fiddly, is so that you can see where we were. Like I'm working on this color now, and then this is the previous color. So it's harder to mix my loops up, but you take this one I've been in, see where the gray loops around? If you can see that, it's kind of dark. There, where the gray loops around. That one I've been in. So I have to pick up this loop, which I haven't, this loop, which I haven't been in, and this loop, which I have been in. And you go that way, and then you have your yarn underneath. So you're going over and you pull through, and I just put my gimbal on top of my yarn, so it's gonna rock for a second. And you pull like that. You don't want to like over tighten it, but you don't want to have it loose enough to put your thumb through it either, because this one does stretch. If you have one of those yarn looms, it would make a very, actually I don't have one here. I think I got rid of them, but it looks like a ring, just a whole ring, and it's got these little pegs sticking up top, and you wrap the yarn around. That is actually going to give you the same effect depending on how you wrap the yarn. But anyway, so yeah, stretch it open a bit. So this one I've been, I keep lifting my thing up here. Okay, this one I've been in. You can see the yarn loops around there. So I have to take this one, and you're going, it kind of has like under the X. See, it makes an X there. So Karl likes that comment, under the X. So don't go under the X, he says. Otherwise, I won't have a flat packed Karl anymore. Okay, so under that one I had not been in, and then this one. And you just do this over. Jesus. Karl and the innuendos, you're making Charlotta blush, I'm sure. So you go. There you go. But you do this over and over again. If you have a hard time starting your row, you could literally just do a chain of crochet chain and then connect. But it does grow pretty quick once you're... Karl is holding back there. It grows pretty quick once you get started.
I know. This thing
The beer?
actually competed the Berzici.
Really? He says this might compete with the Berzici Audra.
But again, it's unpronounceable.
Yeah. No, so the thing with the Coptic, if you're going to do it, don't use a dark colored yarn. Don't use something that's too loosely plied. the reason I have a shifting color is because it's easier to see where the color or which row or which loops are next, because it's easy to mess up the loops as it curls, especially when you're joining the first and second row and even the third row. But once you get it going, it's easy to do. It's also easy to make it too loose. If you make it too loose, then those gaps between your chain rows are going to be huge. Let's see. Oh man, I hate the way this sucker curls. It'll be a little easier when it gets bigger. Listen to him giggling back there like a little schoolgirl. But there. So, Max, you like Coptic, I believe. You've been working on it for a while. Oh, I have to read here. Nella's got a comment in there. It is especially when modern done. Oh, wait, no, there's more up there. The oldest loop knitting form in the first to third centuries. There isn't much research available in Northern or Central European languages about the Nalbinding tradition in Islamic countries now and then. It is especially when modern done. And then, that was in reply to Rodisby, who says, Coptic looks like it would be stretchier than most needle machine being, yeah. And Max says, I'm currently taking a little break from it. Oh, sure. Now I bring out Coptic just for you, Max. No, I understand why you want to take a break from it. It's kind of, it curls so much. Anne Decker makes quite a few things with this stitch, though, actually, and they look great. She reproduced those socks that we was talking about, too. But yeah, it is. You can see, if you were to have one of those knitting looms and you did one of those on that where you have to wrap the yarn and then pull the new one over the old one, it will make the same look depending on the way you wrap your yarn. But if you ever have done a project on those, then you'll know that these chains are long and skinny, and then there's like this big kind of gap in the middle. That would be the stretch, and you have the same thing with this as well here too. That's why you don't want your loops to be too big, because those gaps will get much bigger. But when you pull on it vertically, those gaps will close a bit. But it wants to curl so bad. But it's actually, it's longer than it looks. It just curls so much. I mean, you can steam block it afterwards, but it's not going to get all of the curl out, to be honest. It'll get some of it, but not all. So I'm really glad I did the first, I picked up the first row under the post instead of under the X. So under the post, look at him giggling over there. He likes the beer. So, okay, yeah. So this, here's under the X. But when you have one row, you have like a post that kind of goes underneath it. That's what I did for the first row, so that it would be raised like that. But it's still going to want to curl. So if I want to try to fight the curl, I might have to bind a row on the back or something against it, and then it might stay. So it would do that instead, if I can show that. But I'll try to get one wrist warmer made out of this yarn by next week. It is pretty quick working. It's just, well, I can see why Max is taking a break from it. I did one hat in this about a year ago. I was going to try to use that for a thumbnail, and then I couldn't find a picture on short notice, so I ended up just taking a picture of this one, which got started. But that hat actually did sell. It took a little while to sell because most people don't expect Nalbinding to look like that. They just say, hey, why do they have knitting in the Viking store? But it was... Oh, the curl. Watch me complain. But it did go. It had nice expensive yarn with it too, actually. That was the alpaca one. And the silk. Sulka. Yes, and if you touch that fish, I will kill you. That is mine. Back off, mother. I'm not going to say more than that because Stream's watching. Quit fingering my fish. Is he looking guilty over there or what? How's your beer? Do not touch my...
it's gone a long time ago. I've been spending the last couple of minutes trying to pronounce the name.
And how did you come up with something?
Cypriausias.
Good enough. My fish you do not touch. There, you can't have it now. It's mine. It's mine. It's mine. It's mine. It's mine. It's mine. It's so good.
Woman.
I am. We're like way over an hour now.
How would you pronounce this?
I tried to pronounce it earlier. It's a Stipriausias.
Yep.
I have no idea, but it could be like a shus thing or something too. How do you pronounce that? Stipriausias or shias or only Audra knows in Czech.
Is Audra on?
Yeah, she's on there. She'll probably send it to you in a pronunciation thing. Mine. Okay, let's see. We got to probably get going. Nell says I tighten my cross-slit nooping. Yeah, I tend to pull it a lot tighter than I would if it was just a regular stitch here. I'll pull this way so we can see. Audra says she hears you and she winks.
Mm-hmm.
Audra, she writes, I hear you and she winks.
Mm-hmm.
So we're like an hour and 10 minutes now. So
Audra, is there any kind of Viking-related festival going on in Lithuania at any time in the next 10 years or so?
I'm so glad you mentioned that. What he's getting on about is we are now approved. I have to put my fish way over here so he can't touch it. I have to lift up this so we're not looking at my nose. Okay. Yeah, because Workplace has now approved that we can travel and attend seminars and things to further encourage our Viking understanding in Gudvangen. More educational things, whatever, and we can give lectures and things. So in March, I have been approved. I get to go to Sally Pointer's class or her workshop in Wiltshire, UK. If you don't know about Sally Pointer, definitely check her out on YouTube. Just look up on YouTube. She works with prehistoric Nalbinding and textiles. So she will take and make cordage out of stinging nettles, bast, all kinds of things. She'll make her own needle out of an antler, and then she'll process these fibers, and she'll show you how she does it. And then she'll do some. It's usually simple looping, but this one I think she's going to do is like the hourglass looping. And then she'll make netted structures from them. These are pre-Viking. So that one I think you'd really like. But if you haven't seen it, there's someone, Nancy's here from Seattle. So if you haven't seen or heard of Sally Pointer, beautiful British voice. She's so easy to understand, and she doesn't talk as fast as I do, but her netting, simple looping and netting techniques are so cool, and I get to attend. So I'm finally going to go and meet her now, because anything I ever say about using stinging nettles when I have to show tourists how we use the stinging nettles and things, it's from her videos actually that I've learned it, and the things that she's written. So I'm actually excited to go and meet it in person, and I can bring all my questions, and my work is paying for it. So what he's getting at is Karl just wants to go to Lithuania for the beer.
Yeah.
So if you can find an educational reason for work to pay for it.
If I can have work pay me to sit in a hotel bar and drink this, I'm willing to listen to any lecture. I'm also willing to hold any lecture about any subject whatsoever.
Karl would be a really good one to hold a lecture, by the way. Really good.
I probably would do a good job no matter what, but I have fields that I'm better at than others. So if I hold a lecture about the use of weapons or military tactics, I'm probably a little bit better than if I hold a lecture about the life of a teenage girl in the Viking Age.
Are you dipping those potato chips in the mustard?
No, but that was a brilliant idea. Do that from now on.
Everything gets loopy after we've crossed the 1 hour limit. But yeah, anyway, if you don't know who Karl is, by the way, anyone that's new there, because I put a link up on Blue Sky for the first time. Karl is a guide at Viking Valley. I work with the Freeman and Administration and textiles and things, but he's a guide. And somebody posted up a video on YouTube of part of your guided tour, which was Sailing Uma, U-M-A. And that one got a lot of hits, but you can see him in action. There was not very many people in the village at the time. It was probably 3 years ago, and it's in the winter, or the beginning of the winter, so it's a low season. So it was a nice time to be able to see him do it. But also read the comments. The comments are absolutely hilarious. Oh man, that retired professor is just a gem for them to have in the village. And I'm like, Karl's 3 years younger than me. I'm 52. In that video, I think you were 46, 44.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, that old professor is just...
I'm also not a retired professor. I'm...
not even close to retired age.
I'm like a re-educated gravedigger.
Re-educated gravedigger. I love stinging nettles and making cordage. Yeah. So if you're new to that one, or if you haven't seen it before, check out Sally Pointer. It's spelled just like it sounds. Anyway, yeah. So there you go. You just have to find a thing in Lithuania for him to do. Ah, Claire loves her too.
Try the mustard dip. It's actually not bad. I'm
Oh,
not kidding.
don't make me eat mustard. Okay, I'll have a mustard. With the potato chip? This is now officially called mustard dip. Gonna have to hurt you. No.
Okay, it doesn't work on Americans, but
No.
it generally works.
Yeah, but if the American liked mustard, maybe, but... No. Okay, there you go. We didn't eat Rakkfisk, but they got me to make the beer face. No.
That's the cherry bear face, by the way.
The raspberry. Oh, and then James says his birthday's on the 23rd coming up. Get a room, says Roger, you too. Aww. But he flat packs so nicely, and I still have room for my yarn. On the 23rd, they call that Lille Julafton here, Little Christmas Eve. That would be, we're going to be on our way to Selja that day.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the Christmas dates might change. I have no idea, but we'll try to keep doing it as consistently on a Saturday.
I don't think internet is good enough there, but we could have a very, very interesting episode if we did it from the boat.
Ah, yeah. I still have to post the videos we made in St. Paul at the outside the capital.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could do the same thing on the ferry boat, because the ferry boat, if the Wi-Fi link holds up, we could always just do... I was gonna say I could do it live on Instagram, but I can't. iPhone 16 and Instagram does not get along, so I can't upload any pictures there, by the way. That's why there's a huge hiatus on Instagram. It doesn't give you the option. You have to give Instagram access to your pictures, and when you look at it, your option is to give them a limited access or no access at all, but you can't give them access to your pictures, so I can't upload anything. Still trying to work out that problem. But yeah, we could do a spontaneous live on YouTube for a little while if it holds up the link out on the fjord, because the fjord, it goes from Bergen all the way to Nordfjordeid, and then you switch in Nordfjordeid to Selja, or?
No, it goes directly to Selja.
All the way, it's the express boat.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and that would be coastal Norway.
I'm from Selja, as I've probably mentioned a couple of times before.
Selje.
Selja is at kind of a break-off point in the on the coastal route, because right outside of where I live, you have the most dangerous piece of sea in Northern Europe.
Yeah.
And by extension, I would say that's probably the most dangerous piece of sea in all of Europe, because I don't think I have anything that is even resembling that when in the south of Europe.
Mm.
So boats go to Selja and turn back. They don't go further than that, because that's extremely dangerous. Up until we get the tunnel built, at least. But
and the tunnel is going to be a waterway through the mountain. And are you thinking of the Atlanta?
This will make sense if you look at the map. You'll see that it's basically 6 kilometers of rock that prevents, that basically forces people to go into the most dangerous piece of sea in Northern Europe.
Where the current is super strong anyway, yeah.
It's more complicated than that, but basically what's going on is that you have a peninsula that stretches out into the sea like this. Then you have the Gulf Stream coming up like this, pushing past the peninsula. Then you have a tidal stream with all the water that is on this side of the peninsula coming out. And right outside of this peninsula, the sea bottom is kind of like this. So it varies enormously from being very deep to being very shallow. And this causes a phenomenon they call triangular waves or pyramid waves. So you have waves coming from different directions, and when they stack on top of each other, you spontaneously get a very, very, very tall wave. So if the normal wave height is like 3 meters, and you have 3 meters coming from that direction, and that direction at the same time, you all of a sudden get a 9-meter wave that when all these kind of ideally stack on top of each other. And the problem is that if a ship gets one of those...
Rogue wave, I think we call it, yeah.
It's not a rogue wave, that's a completely different phenomenon. But it's kind of like interference. So if you have a boat that is minding its own business, sailing past this area, And this phenomena occurs in the back of the boat. The boat will be lifted up like this. And if you have anything loose in the boat, it will fall down to the front of the boat. And then the boat is out of balance for the next one. So I once saw a map of the Stadhavet, that's the piece of sea I'm talking about. But I put a little cross for every person that I know of that died at that particular location.
Oh, yeah.
And in some location, it's completely black.
Triangular waves.
Because you have so many crosses on top of each other. Because so many ships have sunk there.
It's a lot.
It's an enormous amount of shipwrecks.
There's actually that poster is on Celia, I think.
Yeah. It's...
a lot of shipwrecks there.
They've gotten better at it because people are now much more careful than they used to be. And the weather reports are much better than they used to be. So now this piece of sea doesn't really cost that much casualties. The last guy who died at Stadhavet that I know of died in, I believe it was either 99 or 2000. But it causes a lot of economical problems because ships don't want to kill their crew. Well, they're not idiots. So they tend to just stop in either Måløy on the southern side or Ålesund on the northern side and just wait until the weather is nice. Because almost all the heavy transport on the coast of Norway goes on ships, not on trucks. This causes an enormous amount of delays. So every building project and everything that goes on north of this area will kind of have to prepare for, okay, we can build this house for you next week if the weather is nice, but if not, then fuck you and wait until spring.
I can't control them. But anyway, so if you're wondering where it is, it's Selje, and it is the westernmost point in Norway. So when you look on a map, go as far west as you can, and then you'll find it. We will actually probably send there at least once over Christmas, the holidays, maybe twice. So you can see there too. We did last year too. But... If
you look back in the catalogue, you'll see we have sent from there before. So the famous Turkey incident.
Turkey Gate, that was 2023. I almost killed him. No, 2022. I almost killed him. That was episode 93. Why do I know week 93 so well? Because, oh my God, it was... Anytime Karl pisses me off, I just watch that one back because I'm literally ripping him a new asshole about Turkey, and he's just sitting there going, yes, dear, but okay. The one time I can hold Karl anyway, but we should go. Roger, by the way, says it's triangular waves. He's stuck in the middle with us. And Don says, by the way, hi, I'm new to your channel. Welcome, my Don. So we did a little bit of needle biting. If you want to see that, this will stay up. Then you just have to fast forward to pretty much the end.
Cat's off, I think.
The cats are definitely... One of them got stuck in my loom. Anyway.
No, he's just holding the high ground.
Oh, he's holding the high ground. Okay, so I have two cats and they're running around killing each other. My money's on Godzilla. Anyway, it's too messy to show you that part of the house. But, so yeah, if you want to see the needle binding part of every week, because there's a lot of banter and we have to give Karl a beer or he won't play, just fast forward till you see yarn. But the rest is fun too. Okay, so anyway, but we'll be back again next Saturday, probably at 6:30 again, Norway time. Yeah, when we get closer to Christmas, we might have to change the day, but then I'll try to put it up as much as we thought. Oh, she'll rewatch. Thank you. Yeah, you can see a lot. We're on week 247 now, so there's quite a bit. It changes over time, and if you really, really want to get into it, when we first started doing this, it was myself and Virginia that were stuck in the Viking village during COVID, which was, by the way, best place ever to get stuck. Around 36, I think, somewhere around that week, Virginia starts to disappear because life changes. Karl comes in for the first time and starts talking about some guys have testicles, and then it just kind of goes weird. And then he's been here pretty much ever since, and then you can watch Karl and I actually going from being work colleagues to bed buddies. 4 years later, we're...
No matter what I tell you, the fastest way to a woman's heart is always testicles.
No, that's I don't know where he gets that from. He's not... That's not true. That's just not true. Eat the mustard. Anyway, but yeah, so there's there's a bit we've developed over time. It used to be a lot more needle binding, and then Karl came in, and there was a lot more Viking. Right now, we are in the winter. It's way too dark here. It gets dark at around 2:30, which is impossible to film in the village.
Now, on good days, I know I can talk a little bit more about the Viking Age than I can right now.
Yeah.
But right now,
He's having a Lithuanian beer
the
effect.
Lithuanians are blowing the Belgians out of the water here. So,
And Never's going to let you pass up the fact that you drank a gluten beer and ruined Belgium for everybody. Gluten-free beer. But anyway, so yeah, that's
least
kind
I
of...
managed to make one good one. We just remember which one that
So if you're
was.
here from the Nalbinding and we're babbling too much, just fast forward till you see yarn. And then, but otherwise, that's kind of how it developed. There was a lot more Viking that came into it, and oh my god, the cats are just... Why have one cat when you can have two? I can't wait to watch this back. Her eyes are just, our heads are doing this. We gotta go. We're like, it's only supposed to be an hour, and we're like on an hour and a half now, so we should probably go. Viking men come on ships at night, says Roger. Yes, he's definitely watched Karl's tour and definitely translated it in the most unique way. So there you go. But otherwise, yeah, we both work in Viking Valley Gudvangen. We do not speak on behalf of Viking Valley Gudvangen, which is why it's under my name.
Oh God, no.
No. This way, at least my boss can safely say, not my channel, I can't control them. But she does let us
By the way,
film in
Roger,
the village.
The Vikings usually come in the morning.
It's not wrong. Okay, anyway, we gotta go. I've had a lot of fun, especially that the Swedish was here when Karl ripped on him. So, I'm sorry, Sweden. We'll see who he picks on next week. We're gonna go. See you next Saturday then. There's no more fish left. Okay, bye. Oop, there.